Welcome to Conversations with the ERC5. My name is Grace Speroni, and today I am delighted to have with me David Foley from Unique Sales and Strategy Solutions. David, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Grace. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
I'm excited to have you with us because I've got a whole bunch of questions for you.
Great.
Just to help me be more effective. So tell our audience a little bit about your background and how you got started.
Sure. So my background, I have about over 35 years of sales and leadership. I started in retail, worked my way up through the corporate ranks, and then I went into a national role in sales. So I was helping companies around the country build their sales, retail, and otherwise. And then a couple years ago, I decided that I wanted to help people. I saw a lot of business owners that really were struggling to put a plan together to make things happen. And so I decided to make that break and go on my own with a couple clients. Pandemic hit, of course, so changed a little strategy. Mm-hmm. But today we work with any company with a product or service out there. So it's good. And it's really that small business owner, an entrepreneur, and solopreneur that really is trying to get to that next level.
Well, I feel that sometimes as that small business entrepreneur, we try to wear so many hats, and then we're not so successful at wearing all of those hats, and we forget the importance of creating a plan. Mm-hmm. To have a strategy. Where are you going? What do you want to accomplish? And that's where you would come in.
Correct. Right. We are all good at saying we want to set goals. We are mm-hmm. all good at, whether it's health or business. Where we fall apart is the execution, right? It's either a habit, it's a process. So if you're a business and you're trying to get your business to that next level, what are you doing to get there? So you have to have a strategy and a plan that says, here's what I want to do in my business, but what am I doing every day with a process, me and my team, if I have one, that gets me closer to that goal. You can't just set that goal and be all over the place with it. You have to make it a habit. It's a daily routine. So as a solo business owner or entrepreneur, every day you should be focusing on what are you doing to grow your business, because we have a lot of noise outside, right? There's a lot of noise coming at us.
We get pulled in so many different directions.
Absolutely.
How do we stay focused?
Exactly. And so one of the things that I work with people on is how to block that noise out is, you have to be disciplined. And it's not easy, and it's a work in progress. But again, if you want to be successful and you want to outsell your competition and outmarket them, you have to be even more creative and more assertive in a lot of different areas today, especially today versus yesterday. Mm-hmm. Because one thing that is certain since the pandemic is what we did yesterday doesn't matter today as much, meaning a lot of those best practices are not applied for today. So, owners that want to, or businesses that want to stay status quo, they are going to struggle. You have to find ways to be, again, increase your sales, your market share, or, your team, however. So,
yeah, to your point, I feel that strongly that since COVID, we used to, this is working, so let's just ride it. But COVID came along and upset a whole bunch of things and how we do business. And you have to be more creative, more mm-hmm. innovative, and you've got to be ready to adapt and pivot at a moment's notice.
Yeah, you have to be ready to adapt and change. And one of the things that people like to do, I say plan A to B, So everyone's good at plan A, and sometimes it could be, well, we really don't want to change, right? We don't want to rip, and I tell people sometimes you have to rip it up and start over, or you have to rip it up and change that, because things happen. If you forecast something or whatever, things happen, things change. Look at, the COVID. And so what happens is a lot of these businesses today, these small businesses, they didn't know if they were going to be in business after the COVID, meaning that struggle there. And then you have the work at home and the hybrid, which is a whole different world there, because you're not in that community, right? You are on your own island. And that's a whole other area as well to be productive and creative.
Yeah. So how do you stay on top of all of these things? Like you can go online and you sign up for all these great newsletters.
Sure.
There's just so much stuff. You pick up books, and okay, so now there's a book that tells you a 4-day work week is super great, and that's where you should be. So everyone's leading you in different
paths.
Yeah. How do you determine which path is the right path to be on?
So one thing that I always look at is hence the name, unique, right? Every company, every person is different. So a 4-hour work week might work for you, but might not necessarily work for me. So the first thing I do, like every day we have a new app coming at us, a new productivity thing, a new website, AI, of course, all that. What I tell people is stop. Use something that's productive for you and stick with it. So meaning at the end of the day, you can have the nicest pen, book, app, computer, but if you don't get anything done, then it doesn't matter. And that's what happens, including myself. We get wrapped up into this stuff and then we get consumed with it. Right.
Yes.
So again, I tell people, if you're using Evernote, I've been using Evernote, for instance, which is a note-taking app, web clipper. I've been using it for over 10 years. So there's a lot of new apps out there, a lot of new different types of things, but I stick with it because I know the system, it's organized, and that's what I use, right? Doesn't mean you can't change or look at new things, but you have to be careful. And I'm a big believer in reading and learning and doing that. However, you just take the bits that apply to you out of it, right? You can't read and say, oh, somebody gets up at 3:30. One of the things is the 5 a.m. routine, right? Well, I am an early morning person. I'm up at 4 o'clock, but that's not for everyone. So again, I tell people, you work where you're productive. Okay. So if you're somebody that, works till 10 o'clock, because that's just how you are, then that's what makes you successful. And you have to block out what the noise is telling you, because people try to tell you other things, right? Yeah. So it's very hard because we have more information, instant gratification. It's coming at you. The news is on 24 hours a day. And so our minds, as we're running businesses and leading people, it's clogged. Right. And so we have to find that way of balancing, managing ourselves, our people, and our business. And again, the process. So for me, one of the things I did this year is I actually cleaned out a lot of subscriptions, newsletters that weren't useful. And then what I did was I said, I'm going to take charge of my calendar. That was my theme. Every year I have a theme, because what happens is Calendly and all these come out. Yes. Great. I found out I turn around and I got people all over my calendar, right? That's okay. So what I do now is I time block. I block my calendar, and I have certain parts of my week, my day, that is for focus work, or if it's for emails or whatever it is, review and planning, because you have to have a process. Otherwise, it doesn't get done, right? How many times you say, I'm going to read that later, and you put it in a folder or this, and it doesn't happen. So, it's just like a sales team. Somebody will say, well, I have a hard time getting back to customers. Okay, that shouldn't be, but what do? And what you do is every day there's a non-negotiable period of time that you get back to your customers and follow-ups. That should be more important than anything, right? And that could be a strategy for someone, right? So that's what I tell people, is that you have to have that process, but you have to be the person, you have to hold to it. It's just like working out or running or being fit. You have to put it on your calendar. It's part of that whole circle is if you want to eat right, you better start preparing food. If you want to be successful in the meeting with a new client, you better do your homework and prepare, right? So that's, to me, I think we're all just running on fumes sometimes and just trying to get by today, and I'm trying, what I try to do is get people to realize that your expertise and your success will come by being even better than that,
So we have a viewer at home who wants to learn more about David and about your unique sales, and they want to set up a session with you. How does that all work?
Yeah, so I have my website, uniquesalesandstrategy.com, and on there I have my information there through social media, in those avenues. And basically what I do is, I sit with them, no obligation. We sit down, have a coffee for an hour or virtual, depending what it is. And what I do is I always ask and find out what are their pain points, what are their challenges. Because I always look at, there's Pain Island, and I say, well, what's keeping you on Pain Island? And then as they're telling me, I think to myself, how can I help them cross over to Pleasure Island, meaning with their challenges? Because every business has problems out there they don't want, but they don't have the solution. And there is a solution out there they don't have. We just have to try to help them get
You
there.
help us find that solution.
Right. So I do that. I have just launched an online business academy, which I'm going to be running a program where for 6 weeks they can try it for free. You get it comes with a workbook, a video. You do it at your own pace. If it's something that you like, you can continue on or not. So it's very, at the end of the day, it's got to be helping you, right? So It's not everything is for everyone. And I understand that. And also, I work with people that have the right mindset. So if you want to change the way you work, if you want to change how you do productivity and your emails and all that, you have to be willing to do it, because we can only set the stage, but you have to be the one that goes out there and manages those folders and does the non-negotiable time blocking. We can tell you, help you, and set it up, but from there. So, there's that. And then also there's group things we do. I'm working with a couple companies where customer service could be, they're saying today, what's the biggest thing? I got no help. If you want to put an introvert in an extrovert's job, that's going to be a challenge. You have to have the right people, in those positions.
Right.
And that comes with the right training and the right profile. So right when you're interviewing someone, you need to ask the right questions. You need to check their social media. You need to make sure that they have the same vision and mission that your company does in you. Because how many times because today, if you go to a restaurant, if you're paying a lot of money for a nice steak, you better get the service. And one person can destroy that, for an owner. And so
you've got to have the whole team on board with what the mission is.
Absolutely. So two things there is, I that's what I focus on is that frontline service, right? And then just finally with talking to people, really the biggest challenge is for employees that want to be business owners.
Okay.
So they're really great at being that employee, okay? And then they have this opportunity to be a business owner, but no one teaches them the financial piece, maybe all the expenses, what a income statement and all that is. So what I've found is that there's a huge opportunity to help some of these small businesses just learn and be able to so that they themselves can run their business effectively.
Lots of great information.
Thanks.
So website, is that the best way for the viewers to get in touch with you?
Yeah, and a website, I have an email and phone. Any way is good to get a hold of me. And I follow my own rule, and I always get back to everyone within a short period of time, either way. So
you are very good at that.
Yep.
I encourage them to get in touch with you. And I like your newsletter because there's always a hidden gem.
Correct.
In there that I can take and apply to what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure having you with us, David.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for watching today. If you would like to be a guest with us here at Stonegate Studios in Wilbraham, go to our website at ERC5.com. Thank you.